Do you ever get that sinking feeling when you look at hours of raw footage, knowing the editing mountain is about to completely derail your content schedule? You nail that perfect take or have an incredible discussion, but then the tedious process of trimming waveforms and hunting for golden moments makes you want to just put the whole project off indefinitely. This editing lag is the universal slowest part of content creation. Whether you are producing a multi-guest video podcast, a lengthy YouTube deep dive, or even just audio-only episodes. Now, hiring a dedicated editor is certainly an option for scaling, but let's be real. It is often too expensive and significantly slower than what most indie creators need right now. The much smarter strategy for the modern solo creator is leveraging AI tools to automate the grunt work so you can focus your precious energy on the actual creative work. Today, I want to show you my exact process using a tool called Vizard. Not as some phony commercial, but as a real-world workflow that genuinely saves me multiple hours every single week. Vizard is an AI-first platform designed to take your massive long-form recordings and instantly turn them into perfectly ready-to-post microclips, finding the potentially viral moments automatically. It even handles the tedious scheduling for you, making it indispensable if you are a solo operator or part of a tiny team needing consistent publishing without editing burnout. To begin any workflow correctly, I always record my source audio and video locally whenever physically possible because that inherently gives you the highest quality raw material to work with. However, regardless of whether your source material comes from a high-end camera, a simple webcam, or a remote session recorded by another platform, you can upload that raw file directly into Vizard. From that point onward, Vizard takes over and executes the majority of the heavy lifting by transcribing the entire video, intelligently detecting highlights, and removing filler words if you select that option. The tool then spits out multiple perfectly sized short clips optimized for distribution across platforms like TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts all at once. It is honestly incredible how it transforms an hour-long recording session into what looks like a full week's worth of curated finished content in just a matter of minutes. Let me quickly walk you through the actual interface so you can properly visualize how this whole process flows when you open up a project in Vizard. You will immediately see the full video recording displayed alongside the complete transcript and the main editing timeline all presented in one integrated view. The very first thing I almost always do to kickstart the process is simply letting Vizard's powerful auto-editing feature run its course on the entire file. Vizard's signature auto-editing viral clips function is incredibly smart because it doesn't just randomly chop away at the footage. It actively analyzes engagement signals. This analysis specifically prioritizes moments that are statistically likely to perform well, such as passionate outbursts, concise expert takeaways, surprise interjections, or clear comedic punchlines. You can then quickly preview all the different short clips the AI has expertly generated, make minor tweaks to the in and out points if necessary, and export them as vertical-ready files instantly. One feature that creators absolutely rave about is the ability to completely bypass manually scrubbing through to eliminate every single audible or prolonged awkward pause in your speech. Vizard provides powerful options to surgically remove those distracting filler words and even compress those lengthy pauses down to a much more natural and engaging conversational rhythm. So if you've recorded a 10-minute segment that you know could be tightened into 60 to 90 seconds of pure, punchy content, Vizard will expertly tighten it without ever sounding robotic. Conversely, if you prefer a slightly more relaxed and breathing feel for your long-form YouTube uploads, you always have the control to dial back the aggressiveness of the edits. For those of you focused primarily on audio podcasts, Vizard immediately supplies you with the full text transcript, complete with automatically generated chapter markers. This means when you finalize your episode, you can simply copy those precise chapter timestamps directly into your episode show notes, saving you massive time writing descriptions. Speaking of show notes, the AI is also incredibly helpful here, as Vizard automatically generates summaries, key takeaways, potential titles, and relevant keywords straight from the transcript text. When you are working on a video podcast setup, the editing workflow remains just as wonderfully painless, even with multiple participants. You can drop in custom markers right while you are recording. I always throw one down when someone needs to step away or we have a noticeable bad take that needs trimming later. Vizard natively supports multi-track editing, so if one guest's audio input is unexpectedly noisy or quiet, you can isolate just that track for specific fixes. There are also fantastic built-in audio cleanup tools that actively reduce persistent background hum and can even automatically balance the volume levels between all your different speakers. Now let's talk about conquering the vertical content game, which is truly where Vizard shines brightest for creators aiming to aggressively scale their audience reach. While your long-form video provides the foundational raw material, it is the short-form content that consistently acts as the primary discovery engine for entirely new audiences. Vizard's auto-editing feature intelligently picks out those high-impact moments and automatically reformats them perfectly into the required vertical aspect ratios for mobile viewing. You maintain full creative direction by being able to customize the exact output length, target clips specifically from one speaker, or even instruct it to focus only on sections covering certain transcript topics. From a single hour-long session, Vizard can easily generate 5 or 6 distinct 30 to 90-second clips that are essentially zero-effort, ready-to-publish assets for your schedule. Furthermore, you can preset specific caption styles within the system so that every piece of short-form content maintains your established visual brand consistency across all your posts. When comparing this to other popular creator tools on the market, like Riverside or Descript, Vizard is fundamentally built around the pipeline of turning long content into distribution-ready clips. For instance, Riverside is phenomenal for remote recording quality and offers solid editing, but it feels primarily geared towards being a recording and basic editing platform first. Descript offers that brilliant transcript-based editing experience, yet you often still find yourself needing to manually intervene quite a bit to craft dozens of perfect shorts. Vizard's distinct advantage lies in that end-to-end automation pipeline. Find clips, polish them instantly, and push them out on a predictable cadence without you needing to babysit the entire process. That being said, if you are capturing high-quality live remote recordings involving complex multi-camera angles, pairing a dedicated recording tool with Vizard for post-production makes absolute sense. Another massive, often underestimated time saver integrated into the platform is the incredible auto-schedule feature that allows you to set and forget your distribution frequency. You simply tell the AI how often you want to post, and it queues up those newly created clips intelligently across all your connected social media platforms for you. Forget manually dragging files into a content calendar or spending late nights guessing the optimal posting times because the system handles that heavy lifting for you. If you still prefer having a visual content calendar to map out your entire strategy, Vizard has that feature built in, allowing you to modify schedules or swap out assets easily. This content calendar functionality becomes absolutely invaluable when you are trying to maintain a steady, professional output across YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and LinkedIn without immediately needing to hire a virtual assistant. Now for a few nitty-gritty final checks that I perform on every single clip before it goes live. Starting with the automatically generated captions. You can easily select a visual preset for these captions so that the text styling perfectly matches your established brand aesthetic for every single post. I also frequently like to overlay 1 or 2 crucial text callouts during a specific moment, like a bolded key takeaway or a precise timestamp, to significantly boost viewer retention. For background audio, I always add a track from Vizard's built-in stock library, but I keep the volume extremely low so it only supports the voice rather than competing with it for attention. Regarding the thumbnail, Vizard provides you with excellent automatic snapshots taken from key moments in the video that serve as a fantastic starting point for design. You can then tweak those starters directly within the app or simply export them to finish the design work in your favorite dedicated graphic design tool. If you are strictly focused on an audio-only podcast, the core process is nearly identical. Upload, transcribe, auto-edit, and export the final MP3 or WAV file. The key added benefit here is getting those same social-ready highlight clips made from audio segments, perfect for repurposing as YouTube Shorts with a visual waveform overlay. Here's one small audio-specific tip. Remember to expand the multi-track view whenever you need to isolate and remove distracting crosstalk between 2 speakers or precisely adjust one guest's level. For those of you who inherently prefer to stay hands-on with the cutting and pacing, Vizard absolutely supports a completely manual editing flow as well. Within the dedicated clip editor, you have the power to fine-tune the in and out points, adjust the pacing, move those chapter markers, rename sections, and perfect every caption. But the true genius here is that you are never forced to manually edit every single clip. You can batch create first, and then only polish the select few that genuinely need your personal touch. That specific workflow represents the absolute sweet spot for creators who need both high volume output and the occasional opportunity for quality control. It is worth mentioning a couple of real-world trade-offs so you can approach this powerful tool with realistic and informed expectations from the very beginning. If your primary need is capturing extremely detailed local recording data with per-participant audio tracks from a dedicated platform, you might still record there and then feed the resulting files into Vizard. Additionally, the algorithmic clip selection isn't flawless. Occasionally, Vizard will prioritize a moment you personally feel doesn't quite land or misses your intended context. However, because it is so incredibly fast to regenerate a suggested clip or simply edit that one segment manually, the time savings still massively outweigh those very occasional misses. In my personal, practical week, the workflow looks like this. Record the full conversation, upload to Vizard, let it generate all the clips and captions, select 6 to 8 top shorts, tweak a couple of thumbnails, and then activate the auto schedule. After that, I export the cleaned long-form file for YouTube, and the pure MP3 for the podcast host. Copy-paste the chapters and I-generated show notes. And genuinely, I am completely done for the week. The tangible result is not just more consistent posting, but significantly more promotional touchpoints generated from one single recording session, all achieved with far less tiresome grind. You still absolutely must bring the unique content. Vizard will never write your core ideas or replicate the essential chemistry you have in the room with your guests. What this tool does is successfully remove the massive bottleneck that has historically kept great work from reaching its potential audience due to editing friction. If you currently feel strapped for time and truly want to build an actual sustainable distribution system around your long-form content, I highly encourage you to test this workflow. Start by using the best recorder you have access to. Throw those files into Vizard, let it expertly find the viral moments, apply the audio cleaning, append your branded captions, and schedule everything out. You will be genuinely surprised by the sheer amount of forward momentum a single recording can create once you consciously decide to stop letting the editing phase be the limiting factor in your success. So that is the full, comprehensive breakdown of how I leverage AI automation to keep my content pipeline flowing consistently without sacrificing creative quality. If you have previously been burned by other editors due to excessive manual labor or frustratingly unpredictable clip selection, Vizard is very likely the key technology that will finally unblock your entire process. Take the leap and try this system on just one single episode. Then closely compare the hours you save against the time you would have normally spent doing it all manually. That time saving, when multiplied across months of consistent content production, is where you realize the truly massive career-defining payoff of this approach. Now go out there and focus on making the next piece of amazing content. Because officially, the editing process can finally stop being the single thing that holds your creation back.